How you doing? My name is Steven Cerulli, and this is my I Believe final project for Catholic Mass and Music. So throughout the semester, I've been to 5 different Mass services to film and to record for field studies, and I learned a lot about how liturgical music plays an integral role in the Eucharist. So it was about 2 years ago that I decided to take a hiatus from going to church. I just found myself just sitting in the back in a pew, looking at my watch and just waiting for it to end rather than actively participating and actually taking something from it and, being actually faithful and feeling like, oh, my faith is restored every time I go to Mass. But actually, thanks to this class, I was looking forward to going to the field studies and to the Masses, which I would never actually look forward to going to my home church. And it brought up a question I was always asking myself throughout the semester: why was I more interested in going to random churches that I've never even heard about than going to my regular church at home? So by using my past experience, the 5 Masses I've been to throughout the semester, and what I learned in class, I have formulated my opinion on liturgical music and how it has brought me back to the church. All right, so the first church that I'll be discussing about is St. Ignatius of Loyola. And this church, I believe, has one of the best liturgical music that I've ever heard. Not only is this church aesthetically beautiful, but I believe that the choir is really the main event. Using an organ as a primary instrument is key to liturgical music. If they were to use a piano instead, then the vibe would shift from a sacred moment between God and the congregation to something you would hear in a Broadway play, and I will show a later example explaining exactly what that sounds like. Another example of what makes good liturgical music is the use of Gregorian chant as well as Latin singing. People have argued that this will not attract younger people to the church because it is not popular and at times hard to listen to, but they shouldn't worry about appealing to the assembly. The point is to help people strengthen their relationship with God. If Mass services start using hip-hop or pop genres, it becomes more about the music and less about the Word of God, which is the main point of going to Mass. Personally speaking, the music may sound outdated, but it really moves me, and I did find myself singing along for the first time because of it. For liturgical music to be considered great, it must move the listener and give off a transcendent feel. So the next clip I'm going to show you is from Marble Collegiate. The music was as modern as I think liturgical music should be. Although it doesn't use the 2 points I mentioned before, it has something that is vital: good singers. If you close your eyes, you would think that you were being serenaded by a choir of angels. This also brought a lot of the congregation, as well as myself, to actively participate in the Mass. Liturgical music has to compel you to participate, or at least want to. I, for one, do not have a great voice, so I understand if people are a little nervous to publicly sing, but I encourage people to get out of their comfort zones and try. The music is just too good to let it just be sung by the choir. So now that we've covered what makes liturgical music good, let's find out what makes it bad. So after going through all the field studies, I realized that my home church was the one field study that I did not enjoy going to. I didn't participate or even care to be there. I actually showed up 10 minutes late to this service, which wasn't the case for any of the other services. So this really pains me. Like, I swear to God, I don't want to be extra right now, but I just can't stand this kind of music. I really can't. And that's one of the reasons why I left the church for 2 years, because it just makes me want to walk out. Oh man, it sounds like a Titanic type theme song. All I need is Celine Dion to come out and sing it, and I swear to God, it'd work in a movie. It just worked. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So the singing may not be as good as the other examples that I've shown you, but for a one-person choir, she does a really great job. But being a good singer isn't everything. As I mentioned before, the music has to move you spiritually, not physically out the door of the church. You also may have noticed that they use a piano as a primary instrument instead of an organ, and that, as I explained before, creates a Broadway play kind of feel and a vibe. So in conclusion, I have come to realize that liturgical music was the main reason that I left the Mass or the church 2 years ago. But thankfully, thanks to this class, it has reignited my faith, and I actually look forward to going to Mass on the weekends. I find myself doing that. I go home now, and I know now what distinguishes between good and bad liturgical music, and also how liturgical music plays an integral role in the Mass, how it also relays the message that the gospel and readings give to the assembly and the congregation, but in a more entertaining and engaging way. So I can't thank you enough for this class, to Mr. Mulligan, and that's it. This I believe.